Hello and welcome to another Frackin' podcast. I'm Van and I'm here with my co-hosts.
I'm Joseph.
And I'm Marty.
If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If you are tuning in again, thank you so much. We're so glad to have you back. Today's episode is episode 14, the ever expanding universe Fandom Edition. This might be part one of two because we talk a lot. And that's fine. That's fine. We're allowed to.
We
I'm
talk a
so
lot.
excited to talk about this. Um, my mom kind of started this idea for me when she started watching um, a Doctor Who spinoff that she had never seen, K9. I guess there's only one season of it. It was not wildly popular, but she started watching it and she's like, "You should just do one on spinoffs." And I was like, "Wait, let's expand that a little bit." We aren't going to start with Doctor Who though today. We're going to start with Star Trek because it is drum roll. First Contact Day. So yes, First Contact Day. Let's meet some Vulcans. Honestly, come save us. Take me home with you.
We need to. Spat.
Hold on, let me do the whole. We have whole slideshow thing going on. We're starting with Star Trek.
There we
And not-
go.
Star
we go.
Trek. Yay. Oh, I love the Star Trek fandom. So much fun. The origins of Star Trek are, of course, the 1960s show. I think it premiered in 66. Uh, so many other shows were out around the same time that got a few seasons, just like Star Trek. And then you've never heard of them because nothing happened. But Star Trek kept going.
It almost got canceled after season 2, right? And it was the first time fans kind of banded together, women, and started a campaign, a letter writing campaign to demand the continuation of the show. So, um,
Women and fan fiction writers. Like the OG fan
exactly,
fiction writers.
Yes, I
exactly.
think Star Trek definitely owes its popularity, not its existence, but its popularity to women and fan fiction because they were really like, no, we need more. And they got more and they kept writing. Like, even when the show did end after 3 seasons, they kept writing, they kept meeting, they kept organizing.
Created the first convention. Like,
Love them for this. But they did fan fiction. Then we got novels, which I have so many Star Trek novels personally, and I don't have a fraction of what is out there. I remember reading Star Trek novels as a kid, and it felt like even the library had just a huge number. Now, I lived in a big city when I was a kid, so like we went to multiple libraries depending on, how much content we were looking for. Like there was a small local one, but like we lived outside of Columbus, Ohio, so like we had the ability to go to some pretty big libraries and there was just so many Star Trek books. I will admit I mostly only got the ones with Worf on the cover because
we all
I got
have our
other ones,
preference.
but I had my favorites.
We all have our preferences. Nerd culture today owes what we have to the OG Star Trek fans. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
that's definitely
Um,
true.
yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's important to know, like, the books came out, right?
Yeah.
Comics came out.
Yes.
Um, the
I
animated
actually own
series.
the animated series. I actually own a story told on vinyl. Like it was a vinyl that came with a booklet, and you
Yeah,
would put the vinyl on, it would read to you the booklet with sound effects and everything. So I mean,
so cool.
it's very I mean, the merchandising back in the day for Star Trek was
I love that.
yeah.
The first
But
spinoff, and not many people have seen it. They have heard of it, right? The animated series. I mean, I say a lot of people. I'm talking about non-Trek fans, obviously. But even
I
amongst
love the animated series, and I will not stand for any hate on it. So
oh, I'm not hating on
no,
it.
no, no. I'm telling commenters
Oh,
just
absolutely.
they can
I
keep
think
it to themselves.
the interesting thing to me about Star Trek is like I don't see very many of the iterations that came after the original series as being spin-offs. I know we have a lot of shows that have spin-offs, like the X-Files had the one season of the Lone Gunman, definitely a spin-off show. But like I don't consider the Next Generation to be a spin-off. I don't consider Discovery to be a spin-off. And even the animated series, like I, it stands on its own. I think in Star
Mhm.
Trek, for me, the only thing that would actually maybe kind of be spin-off like would be the short treks. And even that, they fit like in universe to they feel like they were just like deleted scenes from those shows that they were taken from. So I always
Yeah.
thought that was quite interesting about Star Trek.
Well, they do stand alone. I mean, even though, like, let's say the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine have a lot of overlap as far as characters, and I think more so than any of the other shows, really. Um, it's still like you could watch Deep Space Nine and never watch TNG and still be fairly okay. Like the Worf and O'Brien dynamic is like, okay, they must have like known each other beforehand, but they do enough explaining where it's like it doesn't matter. Um,
Mhm.
and I will say, from my perspective, Stargate is very similar to that.
I would
Um,
agree. Yes.
because like Stargate Atlantis, you don't really need to have watched SG1 to understand Atlantis. So yeah, there's overlap. Um, but and we'll get into that later on if we have time. But I think it's amazing. The first spin-off of Trek was the animated series, and James Doohan was totally committed to that. Like he pressured his other cast members to participate in that. And he's like, I'll just do all the voices if you don't do it. Like, okay, this was important to
And it's
I
great
um
too
love
because it shows how early on they were trying to reach newer and younger audiences with Star Trek, and how they've continuously tried to reach newer and younger audiences with Star Trek since the first Star Trek.
yes.
yeah. And I think that's a big part of the continual appeal of Trek is that from the very beginning, there's something for everybody, right? There's like, and even for the fans, right? There were the masculine, like very like, oh, Captain Kirk's like a man's man kind of like fans. But then for the women who wanted something different, there was Spock, right? Or even Dr. McCoy, if that was your thing. But like, I remember getting into Trek because my mom would watch it late at night and she was obsessed with Spock. And like, she would let me watch it with her. And so my first impression of like what it was like to be kind of appealing to women is like watching my mom swoon over Spock. I was like, oh, that's adorable. Um,
I mean, we all swooned over Spock, though. Like,
yeah.
in fairness,
And I think too, the other
I
thing
get
about
it.
Trek that's really interesting is that it had a very successful run of like books and comic books. Like the books now, the publication for Star Trek is quite less than it used to be, but like in the 90s and early
Hmm.
2000s, like the number of paperbacks that were coming out, I mean, they were really competing with Star Wars, its extended universe. And I mean, there were so many of them. You could almost make the argument that you didn't even have to watch the show. You could just start with the books.
I wonder if there are any fans that started with the books because they stumbled upon them or somebody gifted them to them and then they went back and watched the show. I have heard so many origin stories of how, a Trekkie became Trek fan, and I have not heard that one, so I would love to hear that one because that would be a fascinating like origin story. Most of the origin stories I get from people are, oh, my mom watched it and I sat down with my mom, or oh, my dad watched it and I sat down with my dad, or it just happened to be what was on when I got home from school. Like those are the 3
Mhm.
most common stories that I hear. But I want to be like, oh, this dude picked it up at the comic book store,
Right.
and like this cheap bargain bin, and took it home and fell in love and like started watching the shows. I think that would be a super fun one. So somebody out there, find that person, send them my way. I want to hear it.
I would love to hear that too because there's a lot of people who okay, well, a lot of older people who went to the libraries on the weekend when I was growing up, right? And there were lots of kids who did that. And people would just pick up random books. There has to be somebody who picked up a random Star Trek book and just fell in love.
Right. I mean, that person's out there.
Oh
They're
yeah.
out there. I know they are, and I want to hear it.
I definitely
Trying
think they would
to
have to be like somewhere between like our generation or a little bit older because when I was a kid, like you couldn't just like stream it on TV. You couldn't just
Yeah.
find a VHS at Blockbuster of like the Next Generation or something. Those things just didn't exist. You either caught it on TV or you didn't.
right. I'm thinking that I have a coworker and he's a big nerd. He's a little bit older than me, and I pick on him relentlessly. Um,
Oh, so you're good friends.
As one does.
I mean, I have only worked with him for about a year, but we have become good friends. Like, I actually really admire this dude. But
I'm
I
just
am
saying,
just
if you pick on him, then you must like him. Because you
yeah,
pick on me all
absolutely.
the time.
I do not. I don't know what you're talking about. Never have I ever. Um, so for example, like he had bought a car when he was out in California and was having it shipped. He lives in Florida, and there was a delay and no communication from this company. So he was freaking out, and his name's Dave. And so poor Dave was like freaking out. And every single day I was like, "Hey, how's your car?" And he would just like get emotional about it because that was a low shot and I would take it. Um, but he's a little bit older. I know he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan because he loves books. And I'm just curious if he ever read any Trek novels. I need to ask him that. Um, Also, I know that his wife is on a trip without him and he's sad. And so, Dave, how's your wife? Because he also listens to the podcast. So, throwing that out there.
At least he has his car though, right?
He does. He got his car,
See?
right? So, like, I was kind of wondering if they were going to just never deliver the car and use it to, like, funnel weapons and drugs across the border or something.
And we just got flagged.
And
Poor
we just got
Dave.
flagged. Joseph picking up people. Yes, I mean, I am such a nice guy. But like the Ryan says, I started with the original movies, which is kind of cool.
Actually,
Um,
I did too.
oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first Star Trek film was my introduction. So you know how well that went the first time around. The motion
Yes.
picture.
Yes.
So
That's
people love that movie and people hate that movie.
You know, I feel like it's a movie that like with age, I enjoy it more. Like I can appreciate it now. I could not appreciate it when I was 7, 8,
As
whenever I first watched it.
as I
I
grow more senile, I do appreciate it more. I realize it's better. Yes.
I was gonna say, um, a lot of Star Trek is for all ages, but that movie might be more adult, not because it is more adult, but because it's just not as enjoyable for young minds. But also, I think that you can't start. I think it would be harder to start with that and fall in love. I think you have to already love Star Trek to love that movie.
I mean, it's really
Yeah.
hard to get past Captain Kirk's cruise ship uniform, but with the short sleeves,
Okay. I have no defense for that at all.
he should be on a
Okay.
yacht.
Most of the time I'm like, "Oh, these uniforms, this costuming, I love it." But it's still better than some of the things they put Troy in. So we're gonna let it go.
I mean, to be fair, like everybody else's uniform in that film looks kind of like Troy's uniform. I mean, look what Spock is wearing in the motion picture. It's very close to what Deanna Troy is wearing. That like blue jumpsuit-y thing. Like,
It really is.
Oh
I
my
mean, it's
god.
tight in all the same
I
areas.
can't unsee this now in my head. Thank you
They
for
basically
that.
were like, "What are we gonna put Deanna Troy in?" Well, Spock's uniform from the motion picture wasn't that bad. We'll just take off that weird belt thing.
But they did have a weird belt on her in like the first
Yeah, for that
season when she's
one,
in
she
the
did.
maroon. Like they put the belt on.
They did do the belt.
Okay, so just to distract a little bit, Yuri keeps on insisting I'm a Romulan, and I don't see it.
You're too obvious to be a Romulan. If there's a Romulan in this group, it is somebody who is being a little less obvious.
This is
So Marty
accurate.
is the Romulan, got it.
I mean, nobody picks on me, so
Nobody survives after picking on Marty. Nobody
pick on
picks
you
on Marty a
once.
second time.
Just one time. And then they disappear forever.
No, I don't
Joe
see you
Lantru, my
as a
friends, Joe
Romulan. I'm
Lantru.
sorry. I'm sorry, that one.
I'm kind of like a nerdy. I'm not going to say it. Kind of like a
Well,
nerdy
now you have
Ferengi.
to. Oh my goodness.
Are you good with
I'm
money?
like Rom, except
Oh.
more outwardly intelligent seeming than Rom,
Okay.
which just is goofy. I don't know. This is how I see
So
it.
maybe you were a Ferengi not raised on
I was
Ferenginar?
like a Ferengi raised by a Klingon father and a Vulcan mother.
Yeah, so how Worf was kind of raised by humans, so he's not quite Klingon.
Klingon.
Actually, he overcorrects and tries to be too Klingon. Is really the problem with Worf. That's a whole other discussion because people are like, Worf, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, he's trying to be a Klingon and he doesn't know how.
I want
It's
to
just
be
really
half
kinda cute.
Romulan. I want to be half Romulan, half Trill, so I get the ears and the spots.
Ooh,
Oh,
yours
Dax
and
would like
spots.
be all over
Okay.
you, by the way.
Right? That's
Like,
right.
No, I see that.
yeah.
Ears and spots would be
Ears and spots.
fun.
See, they're like, this is a whole cosplay now. We are so off topic. Anyway,
When are we on topic?
I don't know.
Yeah, we were talking about Star Trek Origins. Movies. We were talking about movies. We haven't even talked about video games, board
So many.
games.
So in the 90s, there's a video game, Star Trek Legacy, I think it was. And great concept, right? Awesome concept. So many awesome concepts of video games in the 90s. And the publisher they picked just absolutely dropped the ball on everything that could be possible. Like so many bugs and flaws. And so the games were really hard to play because they kept on crashing. So that's the one criticism I have towards the powers that own Trek, which is like there's so many great opportunities that they fail on. Like even the merchandise. If I want to get the merchandise I really want, I've got to go
One,
to like bootleg, not officially licensed people to get the stuff I want because typically the officially licensed merchandise is subpar.
one. I don't think that you have one gripe about anything.
Okay.
We've got like 10
Fair.
gripes about every subject.
One of the gripes. Okay. Let
Okay,
me.
thank you. Thank you. I will accept that. I
Who
will
picks on
accept that.
who now? I'm just.
It's mutual. It's mutual. Listen, both of us have big families with siblings. This was
True.
inevitable.
This is true.
My siblings
Oh.
wouldn't dare pick on me.
And a shot. Speaking of siblings, oh my God, that was very dark. Marty's like, they wouldn't dare.
They wouldn't dare.
Listen, I was hanging out with my siblings last week, and there was a lot of picking on occurring, and it's fine. Shout out to my brother who is probably listening to this and not watching, but listening. I stand by what I said. Don't talk about my face like that.
See, I've been nice to my brother this week because he successfully defended his dissertation yesterday, and so now he's Doctor Say.
Congratulations.
Yay! Congratulations.
Definitely one of the smarter of the siblings. They're all smarter
You
than
gotta
me.
have one. You gotta have one.
I mean, I've got 3 amazing siblings who are super smart. So I'm a
It's
proud older brother.
3 amazing siblings that are super smart.
Yeah, I've only got 3 siblings. Got 2
Oh, you had
brothers and a
4.
sister. There's 4 of us total. I
Oh.
count as a person
Mm.
sometimes.
My brain thought there were 5 of you.
No.
Mm.
There were,
I
I
wish
don't
there were
know.
5 of me, because then I could get a lot more done. I need like
Oh.
I need a transporter accident. It's that.
As long as you don't combine with, like, somebody else, right? Like,
No,
you get on a
No,
transporter
no,
pad.
we're not
No,
combining,
we're
we're
doing this like
separating.
yeah, we're doing this like Riker style.
Okay.
Like
So
I
we're
need
not
like that.
tossing you on the transporter with,
No.
somebody in TikTok that I'm gonna pick on. I'm not sure who.
No, let's
Yuri.
not do that.
Like, let's throw you on the transporter of Yuri, and
Let's
then
not
it's like,
Oh, but
combine
then if you
people.
put me and Yuri in there and we like recombined, we would be a full Romulan, right? Because I'm like half
Yeah.
Romulan.
Yeah. That
oh my god.
Stay tuned next week.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Anyways, video games.
Can we just say that? Do you guys remember the next generation video? I think it was it Super NES? The one that was like impossible. Like
Oh my god.
I could never figure out how to even get out of the bridge. Like how
Yeah.
to get beyond like the like. And recently, like I found a version of it online. I tried to play it again. I was like, how do you get through like the dialogue? How do you get into like the actual like ship fighting? I really struggled at it. On that note, the Star Wars Super NES games were also really hard.
I did not play any NES,
So, Armada, that was the one. It's like there's so many video games.
there were just a lot.
Legacy, Armada, Academy. There's Star Trek Online if you want to play a video game right now. Which I will tell you, when it first came out, like I'm not interested in away missions at all. Like I could give a shit about beaming. Like just give me command of the bridge, let me fly the ship, and like fire phasers. I don't want to be on the ground getting shot
See,
at.
I want to be on the ground, like picking up rocks and like finding like the space spores that are like gonna like make everybody happy, and like I want to like
So you just want
Yeah,
to
I
die,
want that
basically.
game. I want that game.
yeah.
It's like an away mission to Australia. Everything's trying to kill you. So I'm
I
like,
think that sounds like a fun game. It
I
reminds me
I
of
want to be
like Fallout,
safely.
which is one of my favorite games. Just like
I
let me go. Let me go check things out. Let me
so
go
you've
do research.
played Star Trek Online then? Is that what you're saying?
I did start it when it first came out, and there was a glitch, and my ship got stuck in like in between 2 asteroids, and I was just like, I was so annoyed. I was like, I
I
gave
mean,
up.
is it like Star Wars: The Old Republic? Because I want a Star Trek game that's like Star Wars: The Old Republic.
No, I don't.
See, that's what
It's
I
pretty
want.
good, but it's not.
I want like my own ship with my crew, but then I want to be able to go off world and like have these mini adventures. Like that would make me
Yeah,
buy a gaming computer if there was a Star Trek game that was like SWOTR, basically.
it's
I support this.
good.
Which
I
is
don't think
what
it's
they should
Knights
be
of the Old
doing.
Republic good. Like I don't think so. This is me. Anyway, point being, um,
I
there
mean,
are
Star Trek
lots of Star
universe
Trek
is
games.
I mean, the Star Trek universe has just definitely like reached so beyond its original intention, I think. You know, the fact that it started off as a TV series and now, I mean, it's extended so far.
I have
Comic books,
card games that I'm
Right.
pretty
tarot
obsessed with.
cards. I have tarot cards. I have Star Trek tarot cards. I
I
mean,
have Star Trek Flux, which is super fun. I think I have like 3 or 4 decks of Star Trek Flux.
What's Flux?
The best card game ever. How do you not know about Flux?
I don't know anything of
Okay,
Flux.
here's the thing. I'm going to talk about Flux for like 3 hours if we start talking about Flux. Um, it's a card game, and there are a variety of different types of cards, but some of them are rule cards.
So it's like
So
Magic
the
the Gathering.
rules change. No, not at all. Um, you can play with, I think, like 2 to like 8 players, but like the rules change anytime you put down a rule card. So that's why it's called Flux, because everything is it's in flux all the time. The goal to how you win is a card and can change during anyone's turn. How many cards you draw or play changes all the time. You have keepers, which you put down keepers, and that might be how you win the game. Sometimes you win the game because you have the most amount of cards in your hand. It just depends on what the goal is. Like, I it's really easy to play because every card that is played tells you what to do, but also me trying to explain it to you is probably not gonna make sense
So
because
if you
it's
want
a
an
confusing
easy,
game.
if you want an easy Star Trek card game,
No, it
no,
is.
there is. There's a Tribble card game.
There's this triple card.
It's fantastic. It's so much fun.
God.
It's a game you can play with the whole family. It's really fun. I'm pretty sure it's just called Tribbles.
If we
It
had a
comes in-
card game called Tribbles and Dinosaurs, I think Van would probably never leave her house.
It's.
I mean,
it's
I
so
need
good.
people to
So
play
worth it.
with me, so maybe I would leave my house. I'm not leaving my house right now. I can't breathe when I go outside. The trees are trying to murder me.
I have never seen this. Have you guys seen? I have not seen this.
Genuinely curious, is there Star Trek Go Fish cards? I don't know. That's a great question. There's a lot.
But
I would imagine
there
not.
are Star Wars Uno cards.
Oh, if there
Why-
are
there
Star
should be-
Wars, then there
should be
are
there should be Star Trek
probably
ones.
almost not Star Trek Go
Right.
Fish cards
But
because
there are Star Trek tarot cards.
there
God,
are,
that's a lot of
and they're
words.
so
You could
pretty. I
use-
want them because they're pretty.
You can use them as Go Fish cards
That's pretty
potentially.
I'm now searching things. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm very distracted now.
You are definitely distracted right now.
I live in a state of
Star Trek
distraction. This is fine.
Ooh, that would be smart.
Star
I
Trek
wanna-
Ships of the Line
Yes.
playing cards. I would like this. I want that.
I want a Star Trek game that does away missions to teach us science in the way that Carmen's
I
gonna
love
get.
this.
Oh my god.
I love this. This is genius.
Can we have that now, please?
They would never license it to us because it's too logical of a thing.
Oh, we have Star Trek Uno. I don't see
We do
Star
have
Trek
Star
Go
Trek
Fish.
Uno?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Oh, wait, I
Yuri
have a-
doesn't
Okay.
teach
Playing cards.
doesn't teach science, but
I have the Star Trek Uno cards.
Ooh, you
but here's a
have-
game.
Okay.
Oh my
love
god.
this.
Marty, do you just like go out and buy a whole bunch of shit like before the podcast or sorry, Mrs. T, I'm cussing again.
This is
My fault.
these are Christmas gifts I got that I'm still sitting here not put away because I ran out of space. Also a puzzle. It's a
Ooh,
puzzle. It's a puzzle game. Puzzles.
I love that. I really want these Star Trek playing cards now because they're pretty. Sorry, I'm real distracted over here.
We are
Uh,
not sponsored, Paramount, but if you would like to sponsor us,
Please
yeah,
sponsor me because
just-
I have no more money left to buy anything.
okay.
These are really cute. Okay, Paramount, just send me this Star Trek playing cards deck. Ooh, it comes in different colors. Okay, I gotta close this window. Never mind.
Close
I
the
don't see
window.
How many
Go
windows do you
Fish
have open,
cards.
Dan?
5.
Uh-huh.
5.
like
Do you want me to
it took
take
you
a picture and send it to you?
I feel like it took you too long to answer that question. is what
I
I'm
was
saying.
counting because I have 2 different windows and I was counting the tabs.
Uh-huh.
I was waiting till I closed one before I answered you. Fine. I'm gonna take a picture and I'm
I
gonna
do
text
think,
you.
though,
Okay.
On your
So,
phone, how many tabs do you
there-
have open?
we're not talking about my phone. See, picking on me.
Sorry, Marty, go on.
No, I'm just thinking. I've been thinking a lot about. There was a comment about how there's so much they could do with an open world model. Like, thinking about like why isn't there a Star Trek in universe game like the multiplayer game that Star Wars have? And I feel like there has to be.
Well,
There has to be
online
people.
kind of like that.
It is, but if you're only staying in the ship.
No, you can go on away missions. I didn't ever want to, but they have away missions.
And you can interact with other people? So
I
you've
don't
lied to
remember.
me. You've
I
lied
don't
to me.
remember the specifics on that.
Oh,
I just
did
feel like
not
there's such a
make it
great
very far in the
opportunity for storytelling, but
I'm
also
pretty sure it has all that, but I didn't think it was as good as Knights of the Old Republic. Like, I think it was
well, not
kind of
Knights of the Old Republic.
the old. Okay.
I remember Knights of the Old Republic. That was like on CD-ROM something, right?
But that was like the best Star Wars game ever.
Yeah, that was like Rebel Assault 2. That was like.
Is this
that was
where we
that-
transition to talking about Star Wars?
Well, I think we're doing Doctor Who next, aren't we?
I mean, if we have to follow the order I wrote it down in, that's fine. But I mean, this is a pretty good transition point.
I mean, it's just chaos now.
Well, let's talk about Star Wars.
Okay, we'll talk about Doctor Who.
Okay, we'll talk about Doctor Who.
No, we can go
if
to
it
Star
bothers
Wars.
you, Joseph, I can just
No, it's fine.
I can move it on the script right now. It'll take me 2 seconds. It's just
Hold on, let's go to the layout, and we're doing Star Wars because we don't care about order. It's chaos.
Look, the
I'm
Jedi
sorry.
Order is chaos, but
well, that's a whole other podcast. That's a whole thing.
So this is interesting to me because I feel like, to me, Star Wars feels more like individual fandoms than Star Trek does. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like you have Star Wars and then you have all these things going on under it, whereas you have Star Trek, and I feel like in Star Trek all of it kind of encapsulates together, but Star Wars to me feels more like isolated.
I feel like that's because we get the Skywalkers as like a main thread through the whole thing. So it feels more like the Skywalkers story and the universe around them, whereas we don't, while we get Easter eggs from the first series, like from the origins of Star Trek, we don't necessarily have to talk about Captain Kirk.
That's true.
In every single episode.
So one of the things I
they're very different.
The Acolyte I really liked because it was like pre-Skywalker. And I thought that show was amazing, and I don't know why they canceled it because it was one of the best shows they've had, I thought.
We know why they canceled it, but
we know why they canceled it.
We know.
But
it's ridiculous.
It's the racism. But I love that show because it did not look. I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. I love the Skywalker clan, but my favorite Star Wars TV shows, which is a spinoff from the movies, obviously, have been things like The Acolyte and The Mandalorian, which have very little to do with Skywalker directly.
I thought Skeleton Crew was great. I really enjoyed Skeleton Crew.
I haven't finished it. I started it. I haven't finished it.
I thought it was very good.
Okay, we should discuss the origin of Star Wars. I think that is a pretty hilarious place.
The Hidden Fortress, you mean? I'm sorry.
What was it? THX something 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 something. Lots of numbers.
Well, there's that, right? But like the whole plot of Star Wars is based off of a Japanese samurai movie called The Hidden Fortress. And so, it's perfectly fine for Lucas.
What did you say? Did you say Dune? Did you say Dune? Did you say it was like a Dune remake? Is that what I heard?
I did not say that.
What? Young boy on a desert planet? What?
Okay.
So we all know that Star Wars is fan fiction, and we're okay with that because we love fan fiction, and it's fine.
This is one of my favorite, Joseph, you have to do this. One of my favorite things is to go on like a TikTok or something and look up the discourse of the people who believe that Star Wars is a 1-to-1 ratio theft of Dune. I don't agree with that, but I think the videos are hilarious to watch, and you should watch them.
I would be canceled overnight because I would. No. What? Why? Why do you want my account to get banned? I don't understand. Like, I thought we were friends, Marty. That's weird.
My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The
The
fortress.
origins of Star Wars. Yeah. It's a fan fiction.
No.
But it started as a movie.
But he's like Lucas has even said that he was inspired by all these other things, and that it wasn't an original idea. Which it's okay for Lucas to borrow ideas from like other cultures to make his movie, but then when we bring those other cultures into the main fandom, it gets canceled. Anyway, I'm just pointing that out. Because...
No, but I think it's true in a lot of like there is no original story idea anymore. Everything comes from somewhere, right? So say something is like wholly original anyway is ridiculous.
Yes.
It's not. It's like it's how you present it, how you interpret it. And
right.
I mean, your comment is 100% true. Yeah. As soon as we bring in like the other cultures, it goes off the deep end. Yeah, it's insane.
I don't even think we have to wait to bring in other cultures. We just like present the fandom with a woman who doesn't have her entire character arc already fleshed out, and like she has to grow, and then they lose their minds. I love Princess Leia. I will hear nothing bad about her ever, but she enters into the original trilogy as a fully formed character
100%
and is there to support emotionally the rest of the characters who are not fully formed yet and are growing throughout the series. And
Padme Amidala is the same. Amidala is the same.
Yes. And so when we get the first female who needs to do any amount of growth, they like drive her off of social media because how dare she? Like, how dare she?
How dare she have a character arc?
How dare you not be fully formed and scantily clad at multiple points? That's offensive. You're ruining Star Wars.
They drove so many people off of social media, right? Like, what's the actress's name that was the Asian character?
Kelly?
Yes.
And the woman from the Obi-Wan series, the woman from the Obi-Wan series.
Oh yeah.
The fact, yeah.
Oh,
who was I love Obi-Wan.
Yes.
She made that series though.
Oh my.
I mean, he's always fantastic, but like
beautiful. Love him.
She was a fantastic contrast to his character.
No, she was necessary. Her character arc through the season was beautiful. Anytime she was on screen, I was focused. She did an amazing job.
You know, and I have to give props here to like again the authors of the 90s who were writing the Star Wars books that are now not considered, you know, current canon anymore. But
amazing books.
They were so good, and the women in those books were not, you know, fully formed like Princess Leia. Or even when you had a book where Princess Leia was a major character, like The Courtship of Princess Leia, for example, you know, she isn't like fully, she's still on a character journey. You know, she wasn't like she was in the films. And so the writers of those books back then, like, man, those books, they had me in a chokehold through high school. They were so good.
I had a lot of those books.
The Star Wars extended universe was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at the time we had the movies, and we had a couple of TV
the Ewok movies.
The Ewok movies, and then there was like the holiday special, which nobody got to see because it was really horrible. I'm sad we didn't get more fleshed out from the Ewok movies because there was like a witch who was obviously like some Force user in one of the movies.
I loved the Ewok movies. They were like a staple of my childhood.
Yeah,
I may
And
have
when I
watched
was a
them way too
kid,
many
like
times.
I knew they were Star Wars, but I also didn't know they were Star Wars. Like I watched them and it didn't matter to me that there was a Star Wars connection. They were
they
just
were
I
very
would
much meant for
I
younger
would
audiences.
very confidently call them spin-offs.
Yes,
I would.
those
Yeah,
were
I would
definitely
too.
spin-offs. And a lot of people forget about those movies, and I don't think they're readily available to watch anywhere.
Aren't they on
So
Disney Plus?
are
I
they?
feel like they're on Disney Plus.
I
I
don't
But not
know.
saw
the
them
holiday
somewhere
special.
streaming recently and tried to talk my kids into it, and they were like, "No." We started one and they lost interest, and I'm like,
Oh, they are. For Sean.
"See, I was pretty sure that they were."
You know, and I
Um,
think they had a good comic run too. They had
Mhm.
like Shadow of the Empire and stuff. A lot of they took some of the books and made them into comics that were very successful. A lot of Luke Skywalker ones, but there were some that were just like, focused on aliens. Greedo had a run, I think, in the 90s.
Mhm. There were
oh, great
so
comics.
many video games too. Like so
There
many
were a lot of
good
video
video
games.
games.
So many good video
Amazing.
games.
But like they had cards too, right? They had the whole gambit of like merchandise. And I
They
Oh
think
yeah,
one of
they had like those role playing cards that were like,
yeah, and they had the action figures, and they had all of the like the Legos, and I mean I
so
have some of
many
the Legos.
they had
Legos.
micro machines. I had Star Wars micro machines. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm just
But like Lucas knew how to do merch right.
Yes. Yes.
I would actually say that there may be too much Star Wars merchandise. Like, I complained about Star Trek not
Is this where
having
we mute
enough.
her?
I feel like it's not that I don't want a lot, it's just that there's so much everywhere all the time that it's to the point I get a little annoyed sometimes
Is this
when
true?
I'm looking at things like Legos, and it's just like this huge section of Legos is just Star Wars Legos, and I'm like, "Okay, but, like, let's leave some room for some other Legos in the store."
But Legos in Star Wars.
I love Star Wars Legos. I also like Jurassic Park Legos. I like all the Legos. I want to go to the store and half of this Lego section not to be Star Wars because I want more options. I'm indecisive.
They're helping you with your indecisiveness by telling you. No, I get the point. Because I do like all the other Legos as well. There is a lot of Star Wars merch, and with Disney handling everything now, it's just even worse. Marty, you seem focused on something.
Sorry, I saw a
She's-
comment
she's-
in the chat and I had to like almost like confirming that
Heir
they are
to the Empire?
adapting Heir to the Empire. I don't think it's official. Or it's like in talks, but it doesn't look like it's going through.
Mm.
I was about to
how-
like have a moment because if they were actually going to adapt Heir to the Empire, I would probably lose my mind. Like in a good way, but also a bad way if they mess it up.
Ooh, yes, that comment exactly from Yuri. Too much of the same thing. How many Millennium Falcons? Like, how many do we need?
At least 20.
And okay, at least 20. I think we've had 20. I have literally seen TikToks from people who like have 3 and they're like, look at this one, and look at this one, and look at this one,
Look at this one.
and look at this one. Like,
My
there are
horse
other
is covered
things.
in-
Do you have a TARDIS back there? Like you're just
Yes.
pulling shit.
Yes.
Do I have a TARDIS?
No, like literally, you're
I
just
would like
pulling
a
stuff out of
TARDIS
thin air.
in
It's like
Legos.
an anime.
now that we're talking about Doctor Who, Lego TARDIS. Yes, please.
Oh, a
I
Lego
would love
TARDIS
a
would be
Lego
very
TARDIS.
cool.
Oh my god, we need a Lego TARDIS now. What the hell?
Right? Right? Imagine if we weren't so focused on Star Wars Legos all the time. We could get more Legos.
But we're getting a Star Trek Lego.
This is true. This is true,
Is
and I'm
that
so
official?
excited for it. I believe so.
Yes, I want
Wasn't
Star
it
Trek to be better
official?
at the merch.
I do have a TARDIS cookie jar, but
I have
not
that.
in my office.
So
Hmm.
like the TikTok videos that we did, like the weird ones with Michael, like last year or a year before that, and I had like the
There's one
TARDIS
I never
appearing.
posted.
You need to post it and start it
It's
back
just
up.
sitting in my drafts. The most embarrassing thing.
So the TARDIS that I had appearing, that's the cookie jar.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
See, you guys have TARDIS cookie jars. I have a T-Rex cookie jar. It says
I mean, that's legit,
That
but
is legit.
it's the cutest thing.
I used to
but
have a cookie jar shaped like a brain, which was also very
Nice.
cool, but it disturbed
very cool.
people.
Boring.
You have to
people?
open the brain to get the cookies, which I thought.
why would
was
this
quite-
disturb people?
I don't know. I thought it was humorous.
This is great. I would make brain jokes every time I got a cookie.
Wait,
Love this.
is this true? Hold on.
Google it. Is there a Lego TARDIS?
Oh my god,
Oh,
there
there
is.
is.
Okay, so I will now be taking donations for people to like send me money so I can afford all the Legos I want.
We need to be sponsored.
I do think, though,
Mm.
going back to just the Star Wars universe in general. Are we still on Star Wars? I don't even know if
Yeah,
we're still
we
talking about
can
Star
we
Wars.
can
But I was just
Talk about
thinking,
that
like,
wherever we want.
you know, I fear they are doing too much too quickly. And it's becoming a Marvel situation.
Ooh. Yes.
Look
That's
at that.
not exactly what I want with my Lego set, but I would still buy it. Which is fine. But yes, I agree with you. I think we're getting like Star Wars fatigue because there is constant content. And I feel like in a fandom or universe like this, I don't like it when you have shows coming out every week and then you end up having two that overlap. And Star Trek has done this a few times recently and it gets on my nerves. But Star Wars is doing it a lot. But then they have gaps where they're not letting like nothing's coming out. And I'm like, just reschedule things.
To me, it bothers me if I have to watch too many things before to get the new thing. You know what I mean? Like the Acolyte is great. It's before everything else. You don't have to know anything else, right?
Yeah.
I think the Skeleton Crew, you could watch that by itself. You don't really have to know anything. You know, you can watch the Ewok movies by themselves. But some of these things, I feel like it's getting to the point where it's a little bit, you need too much backstory. We're running into like MCU territory here. And that I
Right.
don't like.
I adored Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. Loved both of those shows, but I don't know if they were accessible to people who weren't already Star Wars fans. And I know Ahsoka, most people who watched it who hadn't watched the cartoons where she is a prominent character didn't like it. They're like, I don't care about her at all. None of this makes sense. So, and
No, I think Obi-Wan was accessible if you'd only seen the prequels.
yes,
I don't
I
think
think-
you had to see the Clone Wars or anything like that in order to understand Obi-Wan. But yeah, I think Ahsoka was a little bit more
I
less
think you had to see Clone
user-friendly
Wars
for new people.
to
You had to know who she was. You had to
love
have watched
it.
Rebels and
Yeah.
like yeah.
I think you could have seen the prequels or the original trilogy of movies even. to
What about
appreciate Obi-Wan.
Joseph's favorite, Andor?
Mm,
I
That's
fell asleep. I'm
fascinating.
sorry. I still don't know what it's about. I couldn't get past this. Like I tried. I have tried. That show means nothing to me. It is so boring.
Watch it in another language. That
That'll
helps me
totally
focus.
help me.
No,
Trust
it
me.
helps me focus on shows.
Because then you have to pay
Because
attention
of
to the
my
dialogue.
ADHD, like then I have to actually focus and read the captions in English. And it helps me focus on shows that I'm not
So
able to
people
focus
tell
on
me I
otherwise.
should love the show because it's like Deep Space Nine but Star Wars. I'm like,
I
but I
don't
could just
want
watch
Deep
Deep Space
Space
Nine.
Nine, but Star Wars. If I wanted Deep
I
Space
wouldn't
Nine, but not Star Trek, I would watch Babylon 5. All right.
Exactly
I would
my
watch
point.
Battlestar Galactica.
Like, look, it's cute that Star Wars is suddenly wanting to be overt about their political commentary, except they've always kind of been overt about it, but
They've been
in a
really loud the
different
whole
way.
time. Like really
Right.
loud the whole time.
They've been really loud, but people aren't listening, I think is the issue.
Right. And
People weren't, they didn't see it in the original trilogy. They didn't see it in the prequel series. And so
I mean, the
Andor,
whole
I think,
evil
was like a
empire
let's see this.
thing, colonialism, like,
Like,
okay, maybe I was reading too much into it, then, but
I mean, you can't have your bad guys dressed up in Nazi uniforms and then not understand that, like, this is political. I'm sorry.
but, but, but Van, real Star Wars is just lasers and ships. There's no commentary at all.
Oh my god, I can't.
Anyway,
I can't.
Andor's just so boring to me. I'm sorry. I
So
apologize to anybody who likes it.
I like the first season of Andor, but I will admit that I can't remember if it's episodes 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, but there's a segment somewhere there at the early beginning middle where as a storyteller it was too slow. They needed to take, there's a whole segment where I was like, this does not need to be here. They could have taken it was like something that went back to his like past.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't need to be in the story. I'm like, that could have been completely taken out and there would have been like no harm done. And they actually almost lost me at that point when I first
That's when they
watched
lost me. That's when they
We
lost me. But you
don't
also like
have long enough seasons right now to have filler nonsense in shows.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that about every show out there.
Which,
when
not
they
to like
do
go back to Star Trek,
nonsense.
that's what I think Star Trek is doing so well with like Strange New Worlds, for example.
Yes.
Those episodes are so tight. Like
Yeah.
there's very little.
They even
thrill.
have like room for a fun episode.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it's still like in the vein of the story. Like it flows better.
But I think it also is a difference between like basically like serialized television, like these segmented episodes, and then like Andor, you have to watch them sequentially. They have
Yes.
to.
Which is why people are like, oh, it's like Deep Space Nine because it's like this. Okay, look, I'm gonna say this: Andor is fine for people who like Andor, but to me, don't compare it to Deep Space Nine. Don't compare it to Star Trek. It's not. It's something different. And to be frank, in the middle, it was totally boring, and that's why I lost interest in it. Like, I just didn't give a shit. It's like, does this have anything to do? No, it has nothing to do with anything. So just fuck off and go away. Sorry, Mrs. T. But indeed, fuck off and go away.
I definitely got in trouble when I was home over the weekend for cussing in front of my mom. Sorry, Mom.
I'm the bad influence. Just blame me.
It's not him, and you know it.
Anyway,
I think we have time for one more fandom before we have to close it up. And
which one shall it be?
I know that Doctor Who is next on the list because it was supposed to be first and we keep moving it down. But I feel like if we just put it in the part 2 and do a
Which would you like
smaller
next?
fandom.
What shall we do?
Well, we know she wants to do her favorite, right?
Jurassic Park.
Oh, we're gonna do Jurassic
that's not
Park.
on the
No,
list.
it's not.
I mean, why? But why isn't Jurassic Park on the list? Jurassic Park should absolutely.
I did not put it on. It really should be because it's very different. It started from a book.
Exactly.
It should be on the list. It should
Throw it on
be
the list for next time.
I will put it on the list for
or
next
we can just
time.
talk about it now and say screw it to any sort of
No, I will have to look up lots of pictures
Van
of
wants to
Ian
prepare.
Falcon for that
Okay.
slideshow.
Okay. Doctor Who's not getting rebooted by Amazon, Sean.
I don't want to
is a
do
lie.
Babylon 5 because Marty hasn't seen enough of it for me to delve too deep. This is on you, Marty.
I would just listen to you guys talk about it.
Are we doing?
I didn't know that there was anything besides just the Babylon 5. I'm here to learn.
There's so much besides the
I
series.
thought it was just Babylon 5.
I mean, yeah, there is just
Are-
Babylon 5, but
Let's do.
okay, let's do
Firefly?
Firefly or Battlestar Galactica.
Ooh.
Which one?
This
Which
is
one?
a hard one. Which dystopia?
I feel
do
like
you
Firefly
wanna hang
has
out
more to
in?
talk about.
Okay, let's do. Firefly.
Okay, we can do Firefly.
Okay.
I actually put
Firefly.
on this shirt because it reminds me of something that somebody in Firefly would wear.
She just recently rewatched all of this.
Oof.
This show. I got so many feelings.
I'm gonna start by saying I am really glad that we only got one season of the show.
What?
And
Explain yourself, please.
I feel like a lot of people want to be angry about that when I say that.
Wait. We repeat that. It didn't process. in
She
my
said
head.
she's glad there's only one season of the show. What?
Okay, so
I
thank you for
think-
joining us. Next time we'll be looking for a new co-host.
Give me a minute. Let me cook. I have delved way too deep into this fandom and reading things about it because of my love of Simon, who I am utterly obsessed with. This is a whole other thing we can talk about. It started as a show. It started as an idea, and some of the ideas and concepts for later seasons that were
yes.
pitched.
Yes. Okay. I'm with you on that.
And them not coming to. I am really happy that a lot of things did not work out for this show.
But I would like it to come back now.
I would like them to do
New
not a
showrunner.
not a reboot,
Yeah.
but I would like Star Trek did. They had Next Generation come out years later. I would like something like that set in the same universe, but at a different time. I wouldn't even mind something like Discovery, where it's like it starts before the show, or Strange New Worlds is before the original series. I know you're very disappointed in me, Joseph, but I'm correct. I'm sorry. I'm
Keep
correct.
cooking, sorry.
The reasons that I am happy is because a lot of the storylines that they had were awful. In fact, 2 of the episodes from the original season weren't even aired because the network was like, actually, no, we're not. This is too much. No, we don't want to air this. Also, and Joseph, you can hate me for this one. I'm really happy that Anara and Mal didn't get their love story conclusion on the show, which would have happened if it kept going through, because he treated her like absolute shit for her job, while the entire universe is set up to this job is a perfectly respectable job. Just Mal over here has a problem with it, and the storyline to get them together would be like she would have to like grovel and give up her job that she was good at, and then he would finally accept her. But like he was never just going to accept the fact that she was a companion and this was fine and he was the one with the problem. She would have to change everything about herself for a man. Sorry.
Okay. So
I'm
I
gonna
will
rant
say
about
a man in tight pants.
Listen. I don't care how tight the pants are. Fundamentally changing who you are for another person is a bad idea.
I will say honestly that I am glad that Joss Whedon didn't get to do the things he wanted to do. And I'm going to say that for multiple reasons, right? Like I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer before I knew who Joss Whedon was. I still love the show, right? Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But like what he did in the comics post the show was horrible and ridiculously inappropriate. Like, there's just so much that Joss Whedon does that should have been obvious that he was a creeper to everybody. Looking back on all these things. So yeah, I'm glad he didn't get to like screw up the show anymore. And I have issues with Serenity. I think that Wash just randomly dying in the last 10 minutes of the movie was completely unnecessary, for example. Like, what did that serve at all? This was the most non-toxic male person on the show.
Yeah, that was a very. I felt like that was a very Jadzia Dax move on Whedon's part, because I think the actor said he didn't want to be in a sequel if there was going to
Yeah.
be one, and so that was his way of getting rid of him. And I think the same with Book. I think it was a similar situation. They're just like,
It just bothered me. Like that there was no need for any of that, right? That was totally out of the blue, unnecessary. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can.
Okay. Fun fact, there are novels and comics
there are.
that
I
continue.
knew there were comics because I have a bunch. I did not realize until a couple weekends ago that they were novels.
I like
saw
some
them
of the
in a
novels.
store, and I was out
I
of
like some
money.
of the novels. Not all of the novels. I like some of the novels. The comics I think of as more. I think of them as comic books where canon is very wibbly wobbly in comic books, anyways. So it's fine. There is one, and I think it's called something really depressing, like Leaf on the Wind or something like that. That is just several stories about Wash, and in one of them, he like does not die, and it's amazing. And him and Zoe have a kid, and it's beautiful and amazing, and I love it. And in my head, that's what happened, and he never dies. Like they go back and are able to save him
Like,
because
retcon it.
Simon's amazing. Like in my head, no, Simon saved him. It's fine. But yeah, there are comics. I'm
Video
not sure
games.
I love all of the storylines that they come up with for the comics.
The one thing though that like I do like, and I don't know if this has ever been like officially canonized or if this is just like the Tumblr in me coming back, conspiracy theory that River is a slayer.
Yes, I love
Oh.
that. I love that
It's like this
theory.
like Tumblr conspiracy theory kind of thing, like, or theory that like that River that it's the same universe as Buffy, just in the
Yes.
future, and that River is a slayer, and that's where that's what the Slayer powers have kind of like evolved to become, which I like because I like the idea of the two universes kind of coming together.
I don't care if it's canon. I like it and I want it. So I'm gonna pretend it is canon. I do like in the comics though that we see River a little bit more grounded in some of the comics
Yeah.
because a lot of them take place after Serenity. So like after Serenity is out of her head, all of that nonsense, she is able to be a little bit more grounded. She's still not 100% sane, but that happens when
A
people
little
poke
less
around in your
manic
head.
pixie dream girl, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and she kind of has a kid in one of the comics. Like an adopted kid that she's taking care of, which is really cute.
I did like her character arc the most in the show. I liked in Serenity that, you know, she got to basically come to terms of what actually happened, and we found out a lot more. And she fully embracing her abilities and like just being this like deadly badass that saves
Yes.
the day was the best part of Serenity. In my
That line before she goes out and like kicks Reaper butt where she's like, it's my turn to take care of you to Simon. The tears every time. I feel like their relationship as siblings was written so well.
Mhm.
Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of writing in the show and the movie that I'm kinda
Yeah.
like, "Eh," but their dynamic as siblings was so good,
I think the
and
dynamic
totally
between
believable.
Mal and Zoe was good too.
Oh, beautiful,
Because
beautiful.
that's something you don't see a lot anywhere in movies or TV. You don't see a lot of
Yes,
male-female friendships. We are friends.
yes.
Mhm.
That's it.
Like, this has
Um,
always
and I
been
love that.
platonic.
Yeah.
I think that the part of the movie that like really had an impact was the fact that like he was ordering them off the ship, and the minute they're in danger, like it doesn't matter, they're family, and he like absolutely just jumps in and helps out. So even though he's torn and conflicted and worried, like he doesn't even think twice about jumping in to help out. And then at the end of the movie, like she decimates the Reapers, and the Alliance like blows up the wall, and you see her holding on to like the axe or whatever, and blood's dripping down, and she tightens her grip because she's just like decimated all these Reapers, and she's like, okay, now it's the Alliance, and she's just ready to go back at it. I was like, okay, I need more powerful female characters like this.
Yeah.
Like
I love her so much.
Mal is obviously the main character in this entire thing, but the way they wrote River to just dominate and almost be the co-main character should have been explored more, I thought.
I would actually argue that all of the women in Firefly are the
Their main character.
strongest, are the
Yeah,
stronger characters because
yeah,
Anara, she's the ship
So
moves because of
amazing.
her. It's her
Yes.
yeah,
money. She's Kaylee, she's making the ship run.
yeah.
Without her, the ship's not going anywhere. Zoe's the one in control of basically all the operations, all of their heists, everything that's going down. They work out because of her. And then River, obviously.
I would say that the women are very, very strong, but I would also like to point out that they're, aside from River, all completely fully formed in their character arc. You don't
Ooh,
really see a lot of character growth, and
true.
maybe we would have gotten more, but like Zoe's done.
True.
We could have gotten some like backstory. We do get a couple like flashes back to in the war, but we don't actually see huge character growth or change from her at all.
Out from any of them,
Anara,
you're right.
we don't see any. We get Kaylee showing up being like, I can fix your engine, and the most character growth she gets is maybe like figuring out how to attract Simon, because
Yeah.
like she's apparently never like had a problem getting guys before. How we are introduced to her, like she can
Yeah.
figure that out, but like Simon's just very different. But that's
But
still not
that's
character
not character
growth.
growth on her part. That's on his
No.
part, right? That's his part, being able to open up to somebody who's not what he considers to be on his intellectual level, right? So,
Right.
And I think in Simon's case, and we see it really in Serenity, is that he's bad with women to begin with. He's awkward, and I love him. There are way too many parallels between me and Simon to get into today, but his only focus is his sister, and you can see him struggle with being attracted to Kaylee the whole time, but too focused on River. And like the second he sees her like out there taking care of herself and decimating people, he's like, oh, yeah, me and Kaylee, that's fine now. And he can relax about it. But yeah, he gets character growth, and he's a side character here.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a fair point. Because Mal gets character growth, Simon gets character growth, Jane, he's
He
not really
doesn't get any
supposed to.
character
He does
growth.
not
Like,
supposed to. He's not supposed to have
He's
character
not
growth.
supposed to.
And Wash doesn't really get any, but
no.
he doesn't.
His
Yeah.
character is to adore Zoe. That's his character, and I love him for it. And I have no problem. They are Morticia and Gomez on the ship, and this is fine. Book gets no character growth or explanation about anything.
And there's
we
so
don't
much
get
there.
backstory, and it makes me angry. There is a comic about him, and I've decided that it's incorrect because I don't like the backstory they gave him. I'm like, no, I don't like that. Nope, that's not canon. Like I made something way better in my head, so we're gonna ignore this.
I do think it would be interesting though to see that universe expanded more. I do think that because I think it's an exciting universe. I think the obvious
Yes.
collapse of society that occurred for this universe to be created is very interesting to explore, and I do think that
We're
it's
exploring it right now.
it's true.
Well,
But I mean, like, if they wanted to do more, if they wanted to create a new series in universe with different characters,
yes.
I think there is a lot that could be done there. The one thing I like about that show is that it's like a kind of gritty version of the future, but also at the same time, it's like how I feel like it's how the future really would be. Like it's not going to be super dark and disturbing like something like Alien. You're not constantly in turmoil, but it's also not going to be everything is perfect and clean like Star Trek. I think this is a more realistic view of what the world would probably look like or the universe would look
But
like
they
if
are
we
in the same universe as Alien.
Okay, well,
Arguably,
yeah,
it could
okay,
be the same. It could be the same. I don't want it to be though. So
I mean, that's a conversation for an episode itself.
that is the
Because
conversation.
then if Firefly is in the Alien universe, and we already know that Alien is in the Blade Runner universe,
Yes.
then we got a lot of things going on here.
I mean, but Firefly is definitely in the Buffy universe. So
So then Buffy
I
is in the
now
Blade
I
Runner
now need,
Buffy is in the Blade Runner universe then.
which makes perfect sense.
Which
does make
makes
So we
Buffy
could
in the
have
Alien universe.
Yeah.
vampires and aliens.
I
Cowboys and
feel
aliens.
Cowboys and aliens.
I actually like that movie. I just
I
wanna
do
put
too.
that
I
out
love
there.
that movie.
I love that movie
Uh,
irrationally. I love that
Same.
movie.
Same.
Like Cowboys and Aliens. Let's just do it right now. Let's just
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Let's just go.
I can't reach my hat. It's too far.
Loud. But anyway. Yes, I am a Texan. I just have a cowboy hat within reach at all times.
I'm sure.
Just off camera.
I'm not a Texan, so I do not have a cowboy hat at all, actually.
I have 3.
Of course.
Also not from Texas though. No.
I also have like an Indiana Jones style jacket and whip and bag within reach.
I mean,
So.
don't we all have that?
I don't have anything interesting within reach because this is my spouse's office. And we're different people.
Your
I
spouse has something
mean-
interesting.
I have so many things within reach. It's
I could make one of my cowboy hats. be a
irrational that I
Star
have
Trek
things
cowboy
within
hat.
reach. Is all I'm saying. So.
Hold on a second. I have to make one step. My cord isn't long enough, but it's technically in reach. Hold on. Hold on.
We have gotten to the. It's just
the show and tell portion.
the show.
Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
mean this makes sense
So-
though.
Marty leaves and comes back with some Loki horns. Yes.
I mean this is how we know
it's,
Marty. So.
It's too big for the camera. Might fit better over the headphones.
That
I
is
need
amazing.
new Loki horns because mine broke and I have not replaced them. And this is making me miss my Loki horns.
I've never had
Those are
Loki
so
horns.
huge.
I've got Loki horns all over the place. I think there's some up there.
And I
Always have
I
Loki
went out.
horns in reach.
and I bought these little fur balls to be
Yeah?
tribbles so I can duet a video with you, Marty, and I still haven't
Oh.
done the duet.
Well,
It's
you
okay.
should.
Stay tuned. Another one is coming.
Yay!
I do not have a Star Trek cowboy hat, Mara. That was a question.
But you can make one. You just put a delta on the front.
Yeah, that should be easy, right?
It's not like I
Done.
don't have enough deltas.
I
Right?
mean, you still probably need to buy one for it.
Probably need more deltas.
You probably need a bigger one.
I mean, I have
Everything's bigger in Texas.
deltas just laying around.
Oh,
That's a
well,
pretty
that
big
one's
one.
probably the
That's
right
perfect.
size.
That's a good
Okay.
sized one.
See, I was
Mhm.
gonna suggest
And
something about
you're
that
gonna
size.
blind your enemies when they come towards
Perfect.
you. Like,
And you need a matching belt buckle.
yes.
Oh my God, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I normally am right.
Okay, let's not get carried away.
Look.
You're not Susie. Let's be clear.
Listen. That's a fair point. It is startling how often Susie is right.
It is. I just work on the assumption that Susie's right. Is everything okay, Marty? Something wrong?
It got really hot in here.
Did I
just-
reflect the sun
it's-
with my delta?
The
Like,
delta just was shining and I was burning. Like, it was like a magnifying glass on my soul. It's also like the sun is setting right in front of my house and it's like coming right into the window.
oh yeah,
That
'Cause it's
sounds super fun.
never fun.
It's a good-
Okay. Do we have anything else on Firefly?
Firefly started as a show, had a movie. There are comics,
Books.
Video games.
Are there video
There's
games?
a TTRPG.
Yeah.
There's a card game. I think there's a video.
There's a video game?
Is there not Firefly Online? What? No,
I
no,
feel-
no. It's
I feel like
vaporware.
there was.
They were
Hmm.
developing it.
Oh.
I was
There's
gonna
definitely
say.
card games. There's definitely a role play game that I have tried to talk people into playing with me, and I can't get enough people to play it. That's fine. It's fine. I don't have
Yep.
time to play the games that I have now.
They were building this whole like Firefly Online thing, and it just like they even had a demo, I think.
Yeah. The amount of things that get lost in funding is sad.
It was set to
Yes.
launch in 2015, but there have been no updates since 2016.
Ooh, how I want them to expand the universe though is I want a Saffron show.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. I just want her to travel around the universe.
No.
Like the Section 31 movie, but better. We just see her running around
couldn't be
marrying people and
worse.
killing them.
Yeah, I really wanted to like Section 31. I really did.
That's the only one to me that feels spin-offy.
That is very spin-offy. That is very spin-offy.
But at the same time, like there's like no Star Trek in there. It's
yeah, you
I
could
so wanted
take
to
out the
like
Star Trek.
I
and
wanted it
not
to be the
affect
best
it at
thing
all.
ever. I wanted Section 31 to be like my diehard. I will defend this at all costs, and I cannot. I cannot.
Yes. Accurate.
There were
I will though.
aspects.
I will
There were
though
aspects.
because Michelle's
There were
amazing.
aspects. What does that mean? There were aspects, and they were
Michelle.
horrible. Like even Michelle. Look, girls should have demanded some more.
She should.
I hope
have.
she got a lot of money.
I hope so.
Maybe that's what was wrong with it. There's too much money.
I don't think that could ever be like nobody could ever accuse Star Trek of paying people too much. I don't think
That's definitely not a thing. I think it suffered because it was supposed to be a show and became a movie more than anything. I think that when they try and do things like that they're always gonna mess it up.
it just
I
felt
think
like there were two different writers. Then they didn't communicate with each other. That's all. And of course,
And we've circled back to Star Trek.
I mean, we always
They
do,
should
right?
let you write it. Marty.
They should have let me write it. I would have written the heck out of that.
I
could
would've
have.
loved that.
I feel strongly that I could have I could have written it with the same characters and made it better.
Yes.
Like if they said to me, "You have to use these characters; they're set in stone," I could have still done a better job.
Yeah.
I mean, that was awkward.
What was awkward?
Her being in love with what's his name?
The guy that she was in love with before she became emperor? I mean, they were already in love, so I don't really think of that as awkward.
Yeah, and then she horribly disfigured him and tormented
I
him.
mean, that was awkward. Disfiguring your love was awkward. I'm not sure she had a choice, though. Well, I mean, she had a choice, but like, he had already not killed his family and she had already killed hers. So, like, I feel like she had already taken the important step here.
I just don't know
and he
why
had
we're
not.
making. Why did we make Section 31 when we could have made a Deep Space Nine movie?
I want a Deep Space Nine movie so bad.
I just want Benjamin Sisko to appear in some form of fashion in a canon show.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Just close the loop. I mean, they could have done it in the last season of Picard because they did everything else. But
yeah. Yeah, the last season of Picard should have been Deep Space Nine season 8.
It should have been a movie. Section 31 should have been a show. The last season of Picard should have been a movie. They should have taken out all of the Deep Space Nine stuff if they weren't going to put Deep Space Nine characters in it. Oh, my brain hurts.
The only hope I have is that there is a universe out there where Bashir and Garrick are living happily ever after.
There definitely is multiple universes out there where that's happening.
That happened
all
in
except
Lower
the
Deck.
main one.
Yeah.
All except the main one. They are somewhere happy. That's my headcanon.
Lower Decks is pretty good at pointing out that there's a possibility of that. So
there is.
Yes. That happened somewhere else for sure. Okay. I think we can wrap up Firefly and then we will come back for part 2 where we will definitely talk about Doctor Who. I'm going to need at least like 15 minutes to talk about Torchwood. So
right, yeah. I might have to rewatch Torchwood before then.
Don't do that to yourself.
I know, but
Okay, stop after season 2.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't nothing else exists after that.
I mean, it exists. It's just really painful.
Okay.
Really painful. Yeah. Close this out, Joseph.
This concludes episode 14, the Ever Expanding Universe Fandom Edition, part 1. We're so glad that you tagged along. Please give us a like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And please share your podcast with your friends, family members, enemies, Klingons, Romulans, whoever. Our next episode will be
maybe not Joss Whedon, though.
Not Joss Whedon.
Don't share it with him.
Or the guy who made the Bean in Chicago, because obviously he's a horrible artist who like copyrighted Vanta Black and didn't let anybody have access to it. So please, if you're Anish Kapoor, do not watch this podcast and do not share this podcast with Anish Kapoor. Anyway, our next episode will be the Ever Expanding Universe Fandom Edition Part 2. And we'll probably start out with Doctor Who or not. Who knows? We just decided to embrace chaos. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Going out to explore. Tuning comes to another fracking podcast. Time travel, wormholes, and more. Chevron's locked on another fracking podcast. Debating all the lore. we get signal of another frackin' podcast. Nerdy topics galore. Systems go for another frackin' podcast.